Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming to our presentation. Today, we would like to talk about Japanese environment, especially garbage. I'm Yuki, and these are my co-presenters, Hikaru and Momoko.
Today, Yuki will talk about garbage through time, and Hikaru will talk about innovative ways to reduce food waste, and finally, I will talk about creative ways for the 3 years. Please enjoy learning those topics. If you find new good information, please try and expand these ideas to your friends.
I'm Yuki. In today's presentation, I'd like to show you garbage through time. My 3 topics are past and present of garbage, problems, and innovative technologies and policies. Let's move on to first topic. The garbage history of Japan is very long. Surprisingly, in Edo period, people reused things which they could use again, but it was difficult to dispose of food waste. So people threw them away unused areas and rivers. After that, those garbage caused problems such as stench and flies. So the government designated specific landfills and garbage collectors from 1648. This is the origin of today's garbage system. In Meiji period, epidemic occurred many times, so the government must change policies from Edo. It began to emphasize public hygiene and made a law which decided cities were responsible for disposing of garbage in 1900. This is the first law about garbage in Japan. Today, each city decides rules of garbage, so there are many differences among Japan. One example is different garbage bags. Some cities decide specific garbage bags because they want to awake people to classify garbage. I'll show you examples. In my hometown, Hamada City, people can use these garbage bags because it's easy for people to classify garbage because of these colors. We will show you examples. This is for bottle. This is for can. This is for plastic. And this is for burnable garbage like clothes. And this is for non-burnable garbage like umbrella. But in Nishinomiya City, people can use this plastic bag because it doesn't have a specific one. Next, I'd like to talk about garbage problems. Japan threw away huge amount of garbage, so it had some garbage problems. So I'd like to focus on 2 problems. Do you remember the Japanese earthquake and tsunami in 2011? They created too much garbage, including collapsed houses, furniture, and wood. The amount increased about 14,000 tons in 2013. The government had a difficult time to find places to keep them because people didn't want to accept garbage polluted by radiation. Please look at this picture. On the left is in 2011. You can see collapsed houses. But on the right, that garbage was removed because the government built many facilities to dispose of them. Second problem is the lack of disposal location in Japan. Japan is very small, but it has huge amount of garbage because Japanese people use a lot of wrappings. Also, people don't want to put on garbage near their houses, so it's a serious problem. Finally, I'll introduce innovative technologies and policies. There are many solutions to solve garbage problems all over the world, so I'd like to introduce them. Do you know Sweden is an amazing country about garbage? Surprisingly, 47% of garbage are recycled. 52% are used for creating energy, and only 1% end up to landfill. Why can Sweden achieve such a number? There are two reasons. First is the technology of waste to energy. It can change garbage to energy, such as heat and electric power. The government sends heat to 810,000 houses and electric power to 250,000 houses. Second is polluter pays principle. It's a rule that Sweden's company must pay cost for collection, recycle, and scrapping their products. Today, can you believe it? Sweden wants garbage, so it imports garbage from EU countries. Finally, I will introduce disposal machines in Japan and America. Let's start with Japanese machines. Shinshin and Mirai Clean are machines which can change food waste to soil and water. 2 hours later, food waste becomes soil. Breast Company invented a machine which can change plastic to oil. We can use these 3 kinds of plastics. Do you know BioHitech? It's an American machine which can change food waste to water. These are machines for companies and houses, so if they became more popular, we can change the environment by ourselves. In conclusion, innovative technologies and policy can change the world, and there are some solutions to make less garbage in the future all over the world. Thank you for listening. Next, Hikaru will introduce food waste.
Thank you, Yuki. I'm Hikaru. We extension students are foodies, and we look forward to coming back to America for the delicious food. But there's too much. Let's talk about food waste. It happens in Japan too. So I'd like to talk about food waste in Japan. The government has said Japanese people wasted between 5 and 8 million tons of food that we could have eaten in 2012. This is equal to 2 times the amount of world food aid. Therefore, many Japanese people are trying to reduce food waste. So today, I'd like to talk about 3 kinds of innovative projects: food banks, no food loss project, and some school projects that Japanese people are doing. First, food banks. I often see boxes to donate food at churches and sometimes universities in America. However, I've never seen them in Japan. Let's begin by looking at the history of food banks. America established the first food bank in the world in 1967. And now, there are more than 200 food banks in America. On the other hand, in Japan, the first food bank was established only 15 years ago. Recently, food banks have become increasingly popular. However, there are only about 40 food banks in Japan now. I'd like to explain the common way to donate food in Japan. First of all, companies can donate food as well as individuals, but it's not popular in Japan to donate food individually. Then, food banks offer food to institutions. There are many reasons that food manufacturers waste food even if we can still eat it. For example, packing issues and misprint labels often happen. These things are often dumped even if the contents are safe. Therefore, to donate them is one of the good ways to reduce food waste. Let's move on to the next project. The government made an interesting project. The project is called No Food Loss Project. This project is made to spread information about Japanese food waste and encourage reduced food waste. I'd like to talk about the logo of this project. As you can see, this logo is shaped like a face. The name of this logo is Lossnon. Loss means food waste, and non means no. Therefore, Lossnon means no food waste. In addition, the face has 3 meanings. The left eye means a tear, and the big red circle of the face means a plate, and the double line means a pair of chopsticks. The government made the logo to spread information about this project. Let's move on to some suggestions from this project. This project regards a lot of food waste at restaurants. In America, doggy bags are very popular when people eat out. On the other hand, in Japan, it's not popular. I've never used doggy bags in Japan. So this project suggests using doggy bags. Also, people should choose the amount of portion when they order the meal at a restaurant. And now, the final topic. The amount of food waste from school lunches is also a serious problem in Japan. Many schools are doing interesting projects to reduce it. So today, I'd like to share with you 2 creative projects. The first project is Food Recycle. There are many scraps when students eat school lunches. Therefore, to reduce food waste, people in Sapporo make compost from it. Then, farmers or students at some schools grow some vegetables using this compost. Moreover, students eat the vegetables that use the compost at school lunches. In this case, not only can people recycle food, but also students can learn the importance of food. Let's move on to another project. There is a very surprising project in Adachi, Tokyo. Now, this region's school lunch is called the most delicious school lunch in Japan. Dietitians research every day about the amount of seasonings to make delicious food because tastes are different in different seasons. Sometimes, famous chefs cook delicious school lunches to tell students the importance of enjoying eating a meal. In addition, students study about the importance of food. Surprisingly, through these activities, the amount of scraps have been reduced from 341 tons to 186 tons. People in Adachi are trying to reduce food waste using creative ways. Did you enjoy learning about food waste? Yes. In conclusion, there is a lot of food waste in Japan. However, we learned some innovative ideas, food banks, no food loss project, and some school projects, which through these activities, huge amount of garbage will be decreased little by little. Thank you for listening. Finally, Momoko will talk about the 3 R's.
Thank you, Hikaru. I'm Momoko. Today, I will talk about creative ways for the 3 R's. By the way, do you know 3 R's? Yes. Yes? Thank you. 3 R's stands for reduce, reuse, and recycle. There are many trials to reduce, reuse, and recycle garbage in Japan. So I will illustrate 3 interesting things in Japan and also in the US. Reusing plastic bag, reusing clothes, and recycling plastic bottles. First is reducing plastic bags. First of all, do you know how many Japanese people consume plastic bags per year? No? Okay. People use 30 billion plastic bags per year. The amount divided by population in Japan equals about 300 plastic bags each person. Most of them were dumped as trash. There is two kinds of store to reduce plastic bags. One of them is supermarket. People have to pay money for plastic bags. Japanese government made a drive called My Bag Movement. It is the movement that you purchase foods and drinks with your shopping bag, not to use your plastic bag. Another interesting measure is the clothing store. The clothing store called United Arrow do the activity called Reduce Shopping Bag Action. When people buy clothes, but they don't use plastic bag, the company has to donate 10 yen, which costs us 10 cents here, to each time to donate to an organization which protects forests. Isn't it interesting? Yeah. They try to reduce garbage plastic bags in their own way. My next topic is reusing clothes. These are rates about reusing clothes. In America, people waste 85% of clothes without being reduced or recycled. In Japan, also many people waste many clothes. 74% of clothes are thrown away. So both countries have to reduce clothes garbage. So one Japanese company tried to reduce clothes garbage. Do you know Uniqlo? Yes. Uniqlo is one of the most famous Japanese clothing companies. They have stores in the US too. For example, in Boston, New York, and San Francisco. They always gather Uniqlo clothes, which we don't wear again. There are boxes in stores, so we can put clothes at any time, or we can give it to employees to donate. According to Uniqlo, between 2001 to 2014, they collected 32.5 million items, and 40.2 million items were donated to 53 countries. Look at this picture. They are Syrian refugees. All of them were wearing Uniqlo clothes. They look very happy, don't you think so? My last topic is recycling plastic bottles. These are rates about recycling plastic bottles. In fact, the rate of recycling plastic bottle in Japan is almost 86%. On the other hand, in America, only 22%, and Europe is about 40%. From this, you can know that Japan maintains a high level of recycling. There is two things which made from plastic study sheet, plastic bottles. One of them is plastic study sheet. I think most of Americans don't know about this, so I explain about it first. This is plastic study sheet. When Japanese people write something, most of them use it. It is placed under a sheet of paper to prevent marking on the sheet below and to provide a better surface for writing. Look, this is a plastic study sheet which made from recycled bottles. It made from 1.4 plastic bottles. I mentioned that some plastic study sheets were made from plastic coming from recycled bottles. I noticed that products were coming from plastic bottles because of this mark. It shows that this is a thing which made from plastic bottles. One aim of the mark is promoting recycled products to consumers. The other one is pen. This is bottle to pen. Can you see it? This is the world's first pen made from recycled bottles. And it made from 89% post-consumer plastic bottles. This pen shape is like plastic bottles. The maker is Pilot. It is one of the most famous stationery company in Japan. You can buy it in here, although they don't sell it in Japan. So you have to buy it in here. As you can see, there are many creative ways to reuse, and recycle garbage in Japan. You can try some of them, although the system of living in the US is different from Japan one. If you find B2P, please buy and use it. You have to take action immediately to protect the environment because resources is limited. Thank you for listening.
Did you learn something new about garbage? Today, we talked about garbage history, food waste, and the 3 R's. In summary, there is a lot of garbage not only in Japan, but also in the world. However, through our presentation, we learned there are many ideas how we can solve these problems. If you liked this information, please try and expand these ideas to your friends. We believe this huge amount of garbage will be decreased using these ideas which we introduced. Thank you for listening.